USC's 2023 season continues on as USC hosts the Wolfpack of Nevada. SC faced what could end up being the best team in the Mountain West Conference in the San Jose State Spartans, to a Nevada team that, coming off a 2-10 2022 campaign, looks to finish toward the bottom of the conference. Can USC put together a complete performance and take a step forward defensively? We'll talk about it all next. What's up, guys? My name is Gabe and welcome into the Trojan Blade. We are back for our second game preview of the year, and this time around we'll meet the Nevada Wolfpack. But before we do get into it today, today's video is brought to you by the Trojan Blade Patreon. Signing up as a gold tier patron grants you access to the Patreon exclusive film study series. Those come out every Wednesday during the season, and you'll also get early access to every video we put out on the channel, and those will all be ad-free as well. And adding on to that, you'll also see your name in every one of my videos, both in the beginning and in the outro as well. You guys went crazy last week. It's great seeing so many new members over there. Once we do hit 100 members, I will be creating a Discord server that will be exclusive to patrons as well. So very exciting things in the works there. But having said all of that, let's get into this game preview. Alright, so let's dive in here, and as always, let's meet the head coach of the Nevada Wolfpack. Ken Wilson is the head man in Reno. He actually began his coaching career at Nevada, coaching there from 1989 to 2012, whereafter he joined Coach Leach's staff over at Washington State. He then had a successful stint at Oregon as their co-defensive coordinator, and he became the head coach at Nevada for the 2022 season. He's a defensive guy, and he, much like Alex Grinch, plays an extremely aggressive, takeover-minded form of defense. It was far from a successful first year as a head coach for him, however, as Nevada started the year 2-0, but proceeded to go on a 10-game skid to finish the year at a dreadful 2-10 record and 0-8 in conference play. That losing streak included a game against FCS side Incarnate Word that really put a beating on the Wolfpack, but actually took their foot off the gas and let Nevada score some garbage time points. So to say last year was a rebuilding year for Nevada is an understatement. During the course of this last offseason, Nevada took 14 total transfers, 10 being from Pac-12 schools. However, former USC offensive lineman Jason Rodriguez that transferred to Nevada has reportedly left the team. But still, you see the approach here from Coach Wilson, taking players from the Pac-12 that for one reason or another haven't made their way through the lineup. I love that approach, and I think at a lower tier, that's a fast track to success for teams like Nevada. Alright, so that's the coach. Now let's flip over to the player side of things and meet this Nevada offense. Okay, so taking a look at what this Nevada offense did last year, it wasn't pretty. This offense only managed to score 18.8 points per game, which was 120th in the country. They couldn't run or pass the ball well at all, just really putrid across the board to be honest. They do have a new quarterback at the helm this year in former Colorado Buffalo Brendan Lewis. And look, on this channel, I'm honest with you guys with what I'm thinking. I don't pander, it's just not in my nature. So with saying that, Brendan Lewis is not good at all. But in his defense, I don't know many quarterbacks that would have been able to overcome Carl Durrell's incompetence. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of his. This guy can move a little bit, but as a thrower of the football and a reader of defenses, he's easily the worst quarterback USC will see all year. It's not even remotely close. This is the kind of game where if Lewis picks the USC defense apart, I think we need to start having those uncomfortable big picture conversations about the USC defense. But scheme-wise, this Nevada offense is going to be a run-first unit this year. I would 100% expect to see the QB run game factor into what they'll do on Saturday. Lewis has only run for 3 scores in his career, so he's not a huge running threat, certainly not on the level of a Chevin Cordero like we saw last week against SJSU, but it's something to watch for sure. And Lewis is a quarterback that does not handle pressure well at all. If the SC front 7 can generate a similar, if not greater amount of pressure in this game, then we could be talking about an 8 to 9 sack day for the Trojan defense. And there will be some interception opportunities as well. He will throw you 2 or 3 a game, you just have to capitalize on it and catch the ball. Alright, now let's talk about the strength of the Wolfpack offense, which is the running back room. A very familiar face for Southern California high school football fans will start the season as RB1 for Nevada, and former Mater Dei standout and Oregon Duck transfer Sean Dollars. Now, we all know Dollars' game. He's a home run threat that's always looking to bust through for a huge run. If SC isn't gap sound in this one, he could break a couple of long runs. He can catch the ball out of the backfield as well, so watch for that. However, this will be a committee approach to the running back position. Former Cal Bear Ashton Hayes will also be used quite a bit. This is a guy that reminds me a ton of Raleigh Brown at USC. He's going to play running back, they're going to split him out in the slot, and he'll also be a returner as well. So that's a legit running back room right there that has some big play potential to it. And the receivers are actually very interesting for Nevada as well. Of course, there's a familiar face in this room that I feel like we'll all be silently rooting for come Saturday. It's former Trojan wideout John Jackson III. I'm very happy that John is in a place where he could actually see the field. Now, he actually wasn't listed as a starter on the first depth chart that Nevada released, but he is the number 2 at the X spot. So I do figure we'll be seeing plenty of JJ out there. However, the real standout in this room and the best player on the entire Nevada offense is 6'4", 215-pound wideout Dale Von Campbell. After a few years at Illinois, Dale Von transferred out to Nevada, and despite horrendous quarterback play last year, he was really a bright spot for the Wolfpack. This guy's very big, he's got nice hands, and is actually a very deceptive route runner. That will be a very physical matchup for the Trojan secondary. He's not a guy that backs down from people. I'd look for a lot of contact at the line of scrimmage with this guy to disrupt his release and the timing with the new quarterback, Lewis. Alright, now let's talk about the tight ends. Listening to a few of the Nevada coaches talk, they do plan on making the tight end position a key part of their passing offense this year. The group is led by massive 6'7", 230-pound Kaleki Latu. As big as he is, you would expect him to be a better blocker. Last year he finished with a 59 pass blocking grade and just a 54 grade in the run game per PFF, so not great. Local reporters have said that when they get down to the red zone that he has been the primary target, so that's something to watch for as well. I mean, he's 6'7". Grinch really isn't going to let Max Williams take him one-on-one, is he? Let's be honest, he probably will. Now moving to the offensive line. This group was awful a year ago. Actually, for 2 straight years, this offensive line has given up 79 sacks. 79 each year. Just putrid numbers there. The one standout on the line is left tackle Isaiah World. First off, great name. And second off, he's listed at 6'8", 303 pounds, and he has 10 starts under his belt, which is the most of any lineman. That's the only reason he's a standout though. This is their best lineman, guys. His grades last year, 42.2 pass blocking grade, 51.2 run blocking grade, and a 41.8 total grade. Oof, not great. Our front 7 should absolutely eat this Nevada group up. I honestly feel bad for the interior guys that are going to have to go up against Bear all day. So overall for the Nevada offense, they have a few nice pieces, particularly at running back and wide receiver. It looks much better than the group they had last year, but man, with the lack of quality at quarterback and in the trenches, if this Nevada team scores 28 like SGSU did, I'm going to be making videos in a much different tone than I have been up to this point, that's all I'll say. Okay, so let's shift over to the other side of the ball and talk about this Nevada defense. So last year, it was obviously not a very good defensive group for Coach Wilson and the Wolfpack. They gave up 31 points a game and really got shredded by some pretty mediocre offenses. Incarnate Word put up 55 on them, so they were real bad last year. They gave up 27 points to Iowa, which might as well be 100 points, let's be honest, against that god-awful offense. So yeah, they were real rough last year. However, they do look to be improved this time around. So scheme-wise, tell me if this sounds familiar. They run a 4-2-5, and when describing his defense's play style, Coach Wilson said, "We create a lot of pressure, a lot of movement, a lot of different coverage looks out there. They're going to see a lot of that pre and post-snap movement on the front and try to get a lot of tackles for loss." So yeah, a lot of similarities to say the least between he and USC's own Alex Grinch. Alright, so that's the scheme. Let's head over and meet this Nevada defense. We'll start here with the defensive line. Deion Washington is a 6'3", 288-pound defensive tackle. This is the best defensive lineman on Nevada's squad. He is actually pretty good as a pass rusher, recording 2 sacks and 5 TFLs last year. I actually went back and watched the Air Force game from last year to see how the line deals with the run game when they know the opponent is running the ball, and man, they really got blasted up front. Not a lot of pushback from any of them, to be honest. This defensive line as a whole is just not very good at the top. No depth really either. However, there is a familiar face over at the edge spot in former Trojan Elijah Winston. Man, I was very excited about Elijah back in the day. It's crazy that he's already a 6-year player. I'm happy to see him thriving over at Nevada. He really started to come on in the tail end of last year. You know he'll be motivated coming back to the Coliseum, so he's someone to watch as well. Now, talking about the linebackers, Nevada brought in a transfer from Oregon named Jackson LeDuc, and they are very excited about him and are expecting him to be a key player for them. He was on track to contribute to the Oregon defense over the last few years, but man, he's had multiple big-time injuries that have kept him out. He obviously knew Coach Wilson from Oregon, and he followed him to Nevada. He's had a very good camp up to this point, and reporters are saying that Nevada hasn't had a guy with this stature and physicality at the inside linebacker spot in a very long time. I do think he's going to be in for a very long day, however. If you're an inside linebacker and you're lacking speed, Lincoln is going to torch you. That's just the way it is. So for sure, look for LeDuc to make some good plays in the run game, and also look to see him in the trail position all day in coverage. So much like last week with San Jose State, the secondary is undoubtedly the strength of this Wolfpack defense. Isaiah Assessima transferred in from Wake Forest a few years ago and has really become a playmaker at that corner spot. He finished last year with 35 tackles, 2 INTs, and 9 PBUs. He's only 5'10", 170 pounds, but he's a very aggressive and instinctive player, so I'd look for him to be jumping routes early in this one as Nevada looks to steal a possession. Trey Weed is a transfer from Eastern Washington that's going to start at nickel. He's my favorite player on this defense for sure. He was an all Big Sky honoree last year, listed at 6 foot, 190 pounds. He finished the year with 6 interceptions as well. And this is a guy that can really do everything. You could play him at nickel, deep safety, corner, anywhere in that secondary, he'll fit in very nicely. They're very excited about him. He's been one of the true standouts in fall camp, and he locked down a starting job very early on. So yeah, this secondary as a whole is pretty athletic, but they're coached to be very aggressive. Much like SC's secondary, you'll see them be aggressive on the ball and also try to rip out the ball when they tackle. So SC's wideouts should be very used to this play style and going up against Grinch's defense every day in practice. But overall, looking at this Nevada defense, I do think they're improved from last year, but can they hang with the USC offense and all the weapons? Not a chance. Best of luck to them, but I have a hard time seeing them competing with our offense. Alright guys, it is now time for G's keys to the game. Alright, as always, we'll start with the offensive keys. The first one is protect Caleb. The offensive line was pretty leaky last week, and look, at some point, even if you're rotating guys and you can't really get a rhythm at all, you have to man up and protect your quarterback, bottom line. So keep Caleb off the ground is the first one. And then these next two are returners from last week. Let the backups get reps. We need to see Miller Moss, we need to see Malachi Nelson, let them get in the game earlier than last week. And then the third key kind of ties into number one, it's O-line communication again. It wasn't good last week. There were multiple miscommunications that led to breaks. You can't have that, especially against this Nevada defensive line that's just not very good. So communicate, stay in front of your guy, no big lapses. All right, now moving over to the defensive keys. The first one returns from last week, it's just tackle. For the most part, I was pretty happy with the tackling last week. Am I just gonna assume that the defense is gonna be a good tackling unit all year long? No, I need to see it first. And that continues in this game. Tackle, very simple. All right, key number 2 is swarm the quarterback. We talked about it earlier, Brendan Lewis does not handle pressure well. This offensive line can be a sieve at times, so get after that quarterback. Let's make him make some big mistakes early. And that also ties into key number 3, which is just takeaways. We all know that this USC defense made a living last year on takeaways. Didn't get any against San Jose State, although we should have, Damani. But in this one, Brendan Lewis is gonna throw you 2 or 3 a game. Maybe we could get a fumble as well. Let's get that turnover differential up. All right, guys, so those were G's keys. Now time for the score prediction. Last week, I was so close predicting a 63-31 win for SC. So this week, we'll see if I can manage to nail it completely. Very doubtful. But I do see SC having more of an offensive rhythm in this game, and I see the USC defense sacking and turning over Brendan Lewis multiple times. So I'm going to say USC throttles Nevada 70-14, and we're all feeling really good coming out of this one. I'm expecting a huge response from SC. I want to see that killer instinct on full display this week. I want to see Caleb be protected, and most importantly, I want to see Miller Moss have the entire third quarter and Malachi get the entire fourth quarter. Those guys need reps. Let's make it happen this week. Alright guys, so that is game preview number 2 in the books. Again, next week when I actually have some Stanford tape to watch, I'll be able to tell you more about what the schemes will actually be, but hopefully I prepared you for Saturday. And if you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do want to help support the channel in an even bigger way, then you can do so over on the Trojan Blade Patreon for only $1 a month. Thank you all so much for all your support. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.